The home opener is tomorrow at Neyland Stadium. Tennessee and ETSU goals and players to watch in this one.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into it, your Friday morning Locked On Vols. I am your host, Eric Cain. So glad to have you guys along for the ride here this morning. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We are a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook. Football season is here. Visit FanDuel App today and start planning your future bets now. A lot to get into here today, breaking down, or I guess I should say previewing Tennessee and East Tennessee State University. Boogie Bentley of the Talkin' Vols Network going to join us for his every Friday morning hit during football season. That's coming up in segments 2 and 3. But first, here in segment number 1, some goals for Tennessee in a game that, let's just call it what it is. It is a quote-unquote cupcake game, right? It is a payday game for the Bucks of East Tennessee State University. And that's no disrespect. It is what it is. ETSU competes at the FCS level. They've had some great success since the program's resurfaced under Randy Sanders specifically. Trey Lamb was there a season ago. Now it's Will Healy. Will Healy had great success at Austin Peay, spent some time at Charlotte. He's 39 years old, an upgrade 5 years age-wise at least from the 34-year-old Trey Lamb. A little bit different from Carl Torbush, who took over the program when it resurfaced, and then of course Randy Sanders. But a program that has had some success, but they don't need to have any success in a game like this, and I'll explain why. I mean, again, it's a payday game. This is kind of what this is at the beginning of the season. So with that being said, what is a successful game for the University of Tennessee? What does that look like? Well, I got a list right here. These are my goals for the quote-unquote cupcake game against East Tennessee State University. Goal number 1, get out of there relatively injury-free. And I know that's a tall task because you saw what happened last week, and football is a contact sport, right? I mean, that's just... No one's going to be feeling fantastic when you leave this game. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. But you need to avoid some injuries like a Ricky Gibson or like a Jackson Moy or, like some of these other guys from last week. You need to avoid it. You need to leave the game relatively injury-free in comparison to where you were. Number 2, empty the bench completely. Everybody in uniform needs to play in this football game, okay? Thanks to the new redshirt rule, it's not new anymore, but, a couple of years old now, you can play in 4 games and still maintain your redshirt. This is one of those games. Every single player that is dressed, at least every single player on scholarship, needs to be in this football game. I would love for every walk-on to get in this football game. That is the type of game that this is. Empty the bench, let a ton of these young guys that need to build some depth for these position groups play and get a whole lot of snaps. More on that here in a moment. Number 3, explosives on O. Saw some of those, 73-yard bomb to Braylon Staley from Joey Aggs in game number 1. Saw DaShahnn Bishop on a screen, or DaShahnn Bishop break a tackle in the backfield, gain of 47. Love some of those explosives. Let's see some more explosives. Game like this, you should be able to air it out, pretty much do what you want to in certain situations, right? Explosives. I want to see that here in this game. Dominate the run game, and that's both offensively and that's on defense. Offensively, I mean, Tennessee rushed for 250 yards against Syracuse last week. You need something else like that again here against ETSU. There's no reason for you not to dominate the run game. Defensively, there's no reason for you to get pushed around at points and times like you did in the second half last week. Defensive line, defensive tackle specifically in the second half. You're going up against an offensive line ETSU that is not as big, not as athletic, not as strong as you. Need to dominate the run game defensively as well coming out of this game, especially because that's what Georgia's going to try to do with the ground and pound next week. And then finally, give me 3+ takeaways on defense. Give me some takeaways. Last week, Tennessee had 2 takeaways, led to points. One was a scoop and score. The other one set up a short field for Tennessee to go in there, and that was the Star Thomas reception on the scramble play from Joey Aguilar. Give me 3+ takeaways at least in this football game for the Tennessee defense. Players to be on the lookout for in a game like this, and I have a lengthy list right here, so it's kind of fun. It's like every player, right? It's like you're studying for a test and you highlight everything, and pretty much you look at the page and everything is highlighted. It's like, okay, so everything's important. That's kind of like the list that I made right now. We'll see in pregame. Haven't really heard much this week, but would assume that right tackle David Sanders will be making his debut. He was very, very close to playing last week against Syracuse after that late injury last week. Assuming that David Sanders is playing in this game, watch him, baby. This is his debut. The 5-star plus offensive tackle. This is his debut. So be on the lookout for him. And I think this is good because he can kind of ease himself in before, again, Georgia comes to town the following week. Running back Peyton Lewis. Peyton Lewis played fine against Syracuse, but after the game, it was a lot of talk about DaShawn Bishop, and it was a ton of talk about Star Thomas. Peyton Lewis, who scored the first touchdown of the season for Tennessee, running over a guy at the goal line, did nothing to take carries away from him, right? But he wasn't the talk. I feel like that could be some motivation for him, running back Peyton Lewis. Let's watch in this football game. The freshman tight ends. Jack Van Dorselaer got some run. He was in the football game for about 11, 12 snaps against Syracuse. DaSahnn Brame, only 1 snap. DaSahnn Brame had a fantastic fall camp. This is a game where you can go and eat, okay? Those freshman tight ends need to get a whole lot of snaps, and I want to see those guys be involved in the passing game. On that same note, freshman wide receivers. Travis Smith got a little bit of work against Syracuse, where Darius Jackson did not. Those two guys are going to be counted on for Tennessee this year, okay? So those two guys have got to, feel comfortable. I think they need to make it a point to get the football to them. Know what it feels like to catch a football at Neyland Stadium. Know what it feels like to find the end zone. So when it happens against Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, some of these bigger Florida, some of these bigger SEC games, it's not going to be new. You know what I'm saying? So get those guys involved. Defensive line, I've said this all week. Jamal Wallace, Ethan Utley, Isaiah Campbell, Josh Snell, all those guys need to play 30 or 40 snaps, okay? Those guys need to dominate the workload in a game like this. Bryson Eason, Don Bailey, Nathan Robinson, if he plays, those guys don't need to play a lot of snaps, okay? This game needs to be primarily played on the defensive tackle spot by Jamal Wallace, Ethan Utley, Isaiah Campbell, and Josh Snell. Jordan Ross, what a game for you to come out and eat a little bit, right? 5-star talent on the edge, kind of a different mindset this time than last year when you were a true freshman. Go out there and make some plays. This is a game where you can go out there and really kind of announce your presence, right? And Jordan Ross, third in the rotation at Leo, but going to get a little bit of time, especially in Rabbit's package, rushing the passer. Go out there and find some success in this one. Tyree West, right? Everybody was asking, where was Tyree West? Is he hurt? Why didn't he play? Fact of the matter is, Tyree Weathersby's just jumped him at strong side defensive end. And Tyree West is a guy that's been playing since his freshman year. So Tyree West, specifically with the injury situation to defensive tackle, where you can slide Don Bailey inside, that means more from Tyree Weathersby at end, and Tyree West has got to step up and be able to play 20 or 25 snaps a game, right? And he can do it. The talent level's never been in question, but Tyree West needs to step up and have a big game. Maybe this can be his coming out party this season. Jordan Burns, the freshman linebackers. I was shocked I didn't see Jordan Burns play against Syracuse. Ben Bolton played a lot. Jordan Burns had a really good camp. Hopefully he can go out there and show some things. And then, of course, Jaden Harmon, who I thought was very, very productive in his 12, 13 snaps. Jaden Perlotti didn't play. I want to see those young linebackers, the two freshmen Perlotti and Harmon, and then, of course, Jordan Burns, go out there and have a big day. And then finally at cornerback, because you need to find some more depth because of the injuries there, I want to see a whole lot of Trey Poteet, Dylan Lewis, and Tim Merritt. I know I just gave a ton of guys to be on the lookout for, but that's the type of game that this is. This should be a lot to a little, but you still want to play well, be mature about this game, and have a whole lot of confidence going into Georgia at Neyland Stadium next weekend. All right, what does Boogie Bentley think about this game? We'd love to hear from him, his thoughts, his goals, his aspirations for Tennessee and ETSU. That's coming up next, so we continue on getting you set for Tennessee in the home opener right here on your Friday Locked On Vols. It's almost the weekend. Time to look back now and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered. Powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time with your order, these players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down from last week's win over Syracuse. For Tennessee, Nathan Robinson delivered in a big way. Early in the game, big hit on Steve Angeli on third down, forcing incompletion. Knocked the football loose on the 22-yard scoop and score from Colton Hood for a defensive score. That was definitely noteworthy for sure. No hesitation, no delay. He came through. And if you've been watching week after week during fall camp, he's been limited a little bit, but expecting big things out of Nathan Robinson this season. Just like Nathan Robinson delivered for Tennessee, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including a $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive, fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply, promo period through November the 18th. So big shout out to our friends over at DoorDash and a big shout out to our friends over at Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive. And that's what makes Mazda stand out. They go beyond safety, style, and performance to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. Mazda offers more than safety. It's won more than 2025 IIHS top safety pick awards than anyone else. As an athlete focuses on every detail, Mazda does the same. From metallic accents to hand-stitch leather and so much more. You can feel it the moment you get behind the wheel. The smooth handling, intuitive controls, the standard all-wheel drive in every crossover SUV. Whether it's a quick drive to practice or a weekend road trip, Mazda makes even everyday drives feel special. It's the small details that make the big plays, and just like there's more to every player, there's more to every Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Boogie Bentley, segments we like to call Locked On Talking Vols here every Friday during football season. Boogie, pretty good performance there. Season opening lid lifter, win over Syracuse as expected. You and I talked on your show Monday morning, and again, I thought Tennessee was going to cruise to a cover. Tennessee cruised to a 19-point victory. Wasn't perfect, but it was a really, really good starting point.
Yeah, I love what Josh Heupel said in the locker room right after the game. He said, all we got to do is be the best team every Saturday. That's it. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Ain't going to be perfect. Ain't got to be perfect. Just go out and execute for 60 minutes. I love that narrative from Josh Heupel. I love this football team. You know, we had a conversation on my channel. Did they play with a chip on their shoulder? I don't know that you necessarily saw a chip on their shoulder, but I think this team does have a chip on their shoulder. I think they see what the national media is saying about them. Yeah, solid win, man. What did it look like? Was it what you thought? Was it what you expected? Maybe not. Like a theme on my channel all week has been, was it better or was it worse than you expected? Well, I can form it either way. The offense maybe a little better. The defense maybe a little worse. You got some injury concerns, but the bottom line is it's Friday. It's Locked On Talking Vols, and we got a game coming up tomorrow, and it may be ETSU, but, man, we only get a handful of them, so let's soak it in, let's drink it in, and let's watch Tennessee go play ball tomorrow.
Home opener, man. Get to go out to the Cathedral. Get to go out to Neyland Stadium. Like you said, there's only so many football Saturdays. There's only select few at home as well. And so if you're going to the stadium tomorrow, and I know a lot of people watching and listening right now, you know what I'm talking about. It's just, as Brent would say on your show, kind of a religious experience at times. And I'm looking forward to being there for sure. Back to Saturday, man. Like for me, let's go to that defense. Like, I'm not sitting here. I'm not hitting the panic button. I understand the injury concerns, and they are concerning, right? Jamal McCoy, Ricky Gibson this week. Jackson Moy, we'll see if he's back for Georgia. That is concerning, but I'm not hitting the panic button on the defense, right? Gave up 4 touchdowns. That wasn't great. Sacked the quarterback 5 times. Had 2 turnovers defensively, 1 defensive score. Saw a lot of good things. Ty Redmond did well. I thought the secondary played well. A lot of young linebackers played. Like, I like this defense. I think this defense is going to cook. I think this defense is going to eat and have a good day tomorrow and kind of get back on track. And then it's one of those all-hands-on-deck situations when Georgia comes to town.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what this defense looks like once we get to Georgia, but also how does this coaching staff attack the injury concerns? Because, you know, it's kind of a opposite narrative of what we talked about all offseason. We're going to live on defense and running the football. We did live on running the football, but there were some concerns there with the defense, and it was on a position group that we felt pretty dang comfortable with, that defensive line. Secondary looked great. Obviously, you got Ricky Gibson banged up. So I'm interested to see what this, you know, Tim Banks defense, what this coaching staff, what they do to address a guy like Jackson Moy being out. You know, you and I talked about it on my show Monday. Don Bailey playing 66 snaps. That's not what Rodney Garner wants to do. Bryson Eason playing 61 snaps. That's not what he wants to do. I felt like they got tired. I felt like they got pushed around a little bit late in that game. And again, they're on the field a lot. They were on the field a lot. So what does Coach Garner do? What does Tim Banks do? Do they maybe slide Don Bailey to the inside? Can you lean on a guy like Tyree West? We didn't see him a whole lot on Saturday, right? Everybody's saying, where's Tyree West? Well, Weathersby got more of those snaps at end than Tyree West. So can you count on Tyree West and let Easton and those guys maybe slide inside, Don Bailey slide inside, and maybe give us a little help there? And then in the secondary, right, with Ricky Gibson being out, who are the top 3 graded players by Pro Football Focus on this Tennessee defense? They were all in the secondary. That gives me some comfort. You mentioned Ty Redmond getting a lot of run. That gives me comfort. Can you lean on him? If you do need to slide Jalen McCullough out to corner, do you get more reps for Boo Carter? Because look how limited he was. I forget how many snaps he played, less than 20, I think. Can't
27.
Remember the exact 27. So Boo Carter can take more snaps at that star position. So how do they attack the injury concerns? Because overall, like you said, I think this defense is going to be just fine. 5 sacks, the tackles for loss, the 2 turnovers were a big part of it against Syracuse. I think they're going to be fine. I'm just curious how this coaching staff attacks the injuries.
Yeah, a couple of things. I'll go in the secondary first. I would love to have Jalen McCullough back on this team instead of Jalen McMurray, right? No, you said McMullough.
Did I really say
McCullough.
that? I also said that Eason played on the inside. Hey, I told you my brain's fried, man. If we get through this thing, we'll be living the dream.
Eason does play on the inside. What are you talking about?
No, I said, will you slide Eason to the inside to make up
I didn't
for Jackson
catch that
Boyd?
one. Okay.
Yeah. I got 2 of them right there off the rip. I told you it's going to be a locked on talking ball special edition.
Hey, we got lots going on. So does everybody else. We can get through it. No, I like the secondary and Boo. Yeah, like Penance is over. Okay, it's time to go. Right, he's not going to play 100 snaps, but he needs to. Even though I don't think that he'll start at star today, he needs to play the majority of the snaps because Jalen McCullough. God, there I go again.
That's my bad. That's on me. Jalen
McMurray has got to be a fixture at corner. Okay, I'm fine with Colton Hood and Ty Redmond starting. That's fine. McMurray needs to fill that third cornerback role moving forward, just like he did a season ago. If that's playing this possession at star, this possession at corner, playing 3 snaps at star, shifting over, same series, 3 snaps at corner, I don't care. He can do that, right? That's got to happen. But for that to happen, Boo Carter's got to be out there as a full-time starter again, or full-time starter snaps again. I think you're going to see Boo Carter play even more this week because, in my opinion, I think Penance is over a little bit. Going to the defensive line, the name you brought up, Tyree West, I think that makes so much sense because Don Bailey played a ton on the inside, and we thought that was going to happen a little bit heading into the season just because he's a veteran. He can play inside. He knows what to do. Depth was already a little bit of an issue at defensive tackle. But for him to play even more inside, that means Weathersby, who got a ton of snaps the other day, is going to be your primary end, right? And you've got to have somebody you can rely on behind him. Tyree West is a guy that's played a ton throughout his career. He's a senior, right? But I mean, fact of the matter is, and I don't fault fans for wondering where he is. Hey, Tyree Weathersby has played much better than him in fall camp, okay? Rodney Gardner is going to put the guy out there that does it every single day in practice, and that's Weathersby right now. So how does West respond? I think right now West is strongly just a defensive end. I know a couple years ago in Rabbit's package he would shift inside. I think Tyree West has got to focus on that one position, figure it out, make an impact for Tennessee. He has got to step up for Tennessee to help alleviate some of these injury concerns. So, and another thing, too, you didn't bring him up, but, going into tomorrow, Nathan Robinson would probably be your starting defensive tackle with Bryson Eason if they don't slide Don Bailey in. But if I'm Rodney Gardner and Tim Banks, like even if Nathan Robinson can play and is healthy, again, he came back into the game, don't get me wrong, he's got a bum ankle right now, he's got a club on his hand. I'm not playing him at all in this game. Like, why? Look how disruptive he was in the first quarter of the other day. You need him against Georgia. I know, like AP will tell you he needs to play. He hasn't played a lot of football. I agree with that, but there's no sense in running him out there to get banged up, a guy that's made of glass, as it feels like, against ETSU. Let your Ethan Utley's play. Let your Isaiah Campbell's, your Josh Snell's. Let those guys get Jamal Wallace. Let those guys get 40 to 50 snaps for all I care, because you can win this week with those guys doing that, and you can save Nathan Robinson for Georgia, which is what really counts next week.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get healthy, but I mean, when you look at it, this is the whole point of depth, right? You got to build a football team full of depth, and I thought we had it. I thought we had it on this defensive line. But listen to the names that you just rattled off, right? Nathan Robinson, and you said he's going to slide in there and start beside Eason. Well, Jackson Moy should be starting, and then who's in the 2 deep? Well, it should be Nathan Robinson and David Hobbs. 3 of those guys that we just rattled off are out, like they're banged up. You again, like you said, I mean, you just hit the nail on the head. You got to get healthy, but I think you're still going to have to figure some things out. I'm curious how banged up Jackson Moy is. Would he be playing on Saturday if it was Georgia? And this is just, hey, we got to get you healthy and ready to go. I agree with you on Robinson. Get healthy, take care of business against ETSU, and then let's get ready for Georgia because, man, I think that is the game. That's the biggest game of the year. You win that game, you're playing with house money the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I don't know about Moy. It didn't feel like Saturday evening, Saturday night that it was anything serious. And then you and I talked about his screenshot, Twitter and all that. And, what is that? He deleted, but what does that mean? Is he upset he didn't play? Is he upset that he's going to be out this week? Is he upset he's going to be out a month? Like, we don't know, right? We don't know. Kids are emotional, and they can be. That's fine. I still feel like it's nothing too serious, but, I mean, I can't sit here and say he's going to be back for Georgia for sure. Boogie, if Jackson Moy's not back for Georgia, that's an issue, man. Like,
yeah, because you're losing one of your best defensive linemen and your 2 starting corners. Like, that's a problem to go play the Georgia Bulldogs.
yeah, so I hope he's back for Georgia. He gets the rest that he needs. He explodes. Even if he's only playing, 30 snaps or whatever, that's fine. I mean, that's typical of a defensive tackle anyway. Got to be in that rotation. He's got to be able to alleviate not playing so many snaps for. I mean, Jamal Wallace was dog tired in the second half, right? That's the most football he has ever played. You don't want to be in that position against, again, Georgia or any other SEC team. We'll continue the conversation. Plenty more to look forward to. What do you, Boogie Bentley, want to see from Tennessee in this type of game coming up tomorrow? That and so much more. You're locked on Talking Vols. Coming up next, we'll finish it off with segment number 3, Boogie Bentley. Hey, Tennessee fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the Upside app today in the in the App Store or the Google Play Store right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code FOOTBALL to get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 in a year from buying the gas that you're already needing, right, for your commutes. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just for those daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out at any time to your bank account, PayPal, e-gift card, Amazon, or other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using the limited time promo code FOOTBALL for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code FOOTBALL. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Big shout out to our friends over at Upside. And Tennessee fans, hey, football season, FanDuel, it's here to make your football season even better. The NFL season's coming up this weekend. College football season's already kicked off. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your first $5 bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. That's not bad whatsoever. I love using FanDuel because it fits however I like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, even jumping in on the live action as the game unfolds. And I'm watching Major League Baseball at night. It makes every game more exciting, whether I'm watching my team or just keeping an eye out for those guys in my fantasy lineups. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. FanDuel.com, safe, secure, easy-to-use app as well. That is FanDuel, where you can make every moment more. Boogie Bentley, Tennessee and ETSU. We know Tennessee's going to win. Well, let me preface this by saying this. I never want to disrespect an opponent. This does not need to be a 2023 Austin Peay game where Tennessee just didn't care and won 30-13. But boy, it was disgusting. It was the game was never in jeopardy, but it was gross. You need to handle business, get in, get out, have fun, empty the bench. All right, having said all that, what do you want to see Tennessee accomplish in a game like this? Because this isn't a game that's going to get national headlines. Tennessee barely moved up in the national polls this week. A win against ETSU, probably, hell, they might drop, right? I mean, this isn't a game that's going to get you excited nationally. So for you in the weeds here, Tennessee fan, what do you want to see this team accomplish tomorrow?
Domination, man. Just dominate. I don't even think there's a line. I don't even think there's a spread out for this game. And people get mad at me and you say you don't want to disrespect the opponent. I'll do it. I don't care. It's a glorified scrimmage. That's what it is. And if people don't like me saying that and say, well, you got to focus on every – I don't have to focus on anything because we're talking heads. We're fans. We're here to talk about it. It doesn't matter if we look ahead. Just go out and take care of business. You mentioned the Austin Peay game. If I see any red flags, that's going to be a problem. Shout out to Vols JP, one of the old hosts of Talking Vols, actually the OG, the founder of Talking Vols. And he said one time when Tennessee played ETSU and they got pushed around on the line of scrimmage. And he said, Boogie, that's a problem. I don't care. There's no excuse. It doesn't matter if it's the third string, the fourth string, the walk-ons. There is no reason why ETSU should be able to push around Tennessee's defensive line. I don't want to see any of that. I want to see total domination, run the football, take care of business, get healthy, get a lot of snaps for these young guys, and just get out of there, man. Just get out of there and get ready for Georgia. I know a lot of people are going to be talking about those two quarterbacks at ETSU. They both have, Power 4 experience. Cade McNamara, man, that dude was a 4-star. He was ranked inside the on 300 coming out of high school. Led Michigan to a college football playoff before he lost his starting job and then ends up transferring Iowa, then ETSU. The other kid, Criswell, they're going to play them both. And I know that it's not going to be a national story, not a national headline. That's what the broadcast team is going to be talking about. Doesn't matter. You're the University of Tennessee. They're ETSU. Go take care of business. Stay healthy. Be dominant. Be physical. And I expect this football team to do that. I do. I expect them to be physical and take care of business.
Yeah, not only are they going to play them both, they're going to play them both early. Like I went back and looked at the play-by-play sheet for ETSU against Murray State, and it was McNamara that went 2 series, then Criswell came in and did 2 series, and then the starter came back in, but like it was a long series, so halfway through they brought in the other guy. Like it's just trying to throw defenses off a little bit. It is unique. I mean, you're right. The broadcast is going to focus on this. It's going to be annoying, but like it is pretty unique that not one, but 2 former Power 4 starting quarterbacks, and one who's played in the college football playoff, and the other who started at Carolina, left, went back to Carolina. Like it's
how does that even happen?
Storylines.
How does ETSU? How does this little tiny school in Johnson City, Tennessee, have 2 former Power 4 quarterbacks? Again, a guy that was ranked in the top 300. It makes. Like when I heard that, I'm like, how is that even possible? Like, how did that even happen? What a wild story, though. What a wild story.
Let me ask you this, man. It's no secret. You're up there in the Tri-Cities. You're in Kingsport, which is a stone's throw away from Johnson City. I got family in Bristol. I've lived in Kingsport for a couple summers of my life. I love the Tri-Cities. It's home to me. It's a second home to me, I guess I should say. What's the vibes around the Tri-Cities this week? Because, I mean, obviously Tennessee fans are everywhere, but ETSU's right there, man. There's a lot of people that are like, Buck, yeah, let's go.
They think they have a chance. My wife texted me the other day and said somebody that she works with, she overheard them talking, saying, we actually have a chance. ETSU has a chance. You don't have a chance.
Sounds like a Tennessee Vols Facebook post right there.
Yeah,
Come on now.
You never had a chance. You don't have a chance. I don't know how much the vibes are now. When Randy Sanders was here, man, that was exciting. Like that was big time just because you recognize the name and you kind of wonder when he left and the way he left, it was kind of surprising what that program would look like. But I don't know. I don't. It's just funny that they think they have a chance. Most people around here, they're Tennessee fans. They may show up with an ETSU hat and a Tennessee shirt on. They want Tennessee to win that football game and ETSU to have success the rest of the way, I guess.
I'll give that program some props, though, for sure. That went away for, 15, 16 years, whatever it was, and came back. Carl Torbush was the first coach on the way back. May he rest in peace, and, former Carson Newman legend, but, coach for Carolina, coach for A&M. I mean, he's been all over the place, former, baseball player as well. He did a good job being the opening act. Give it to Randy Sanders. He had a lot of success, a couple playoff appearances, a couple titles. And then I don't know if there was any bridge between them, but there was Trey Lamb last year that, had one of the best offenses in the SoCon, only a 7-5 record, but took the jump to Tulsa right after 1 year. And now you have Will Healy, who has had great success at Austin Peay and that's coached at Charlotte as well. Like they've had some pretty good coaches here in Johnson City since that program's rebirth.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Like I said, I really don't care too much. I don't keep too much. Hey, come on, bro. What hat do you see me wearing? What hat do you see me wearing? App State. How do you think that goes over around here? That used to be ETSU's big rival. So let's talk about Joey Aguilar and App State, and shout out Bill Hamilton if you're. I'm going to actually send this to him now because he's the biggest ETSU fan I know. Let's talk about App State.
I mean, you being right there this week, technically behind enemy lines, I thought maybe you'd bring a little bit more to the table. You're just like, I don't care. I
couldn't care less.
It's funny though. You bring up App State, Joey Aguilar. This time last year, week 1 actually, the season opener 2024. Boy, I talked about on the show yesterday, Joey torched him. Like, you don't need Joey to go off to win this game, but you'd like to see it. Any idea what his stat line was in that game last year against the Bucks?
No, I have no idea. I know he threw for 303 touchdowns against Georgia State. I was sitting there in Kidd Brewer Stadium for that one. You put me on the spot here. I tell you, my head's spinning. I'm going to try to make it through. You're like, Boogie, can you tell me how many yards Joey Aguilar threw for against ETSU? I didn't have that on my bingo card today, so tell me.
Come to the park ready to play, Boogie. That's all I got to say. That Georgia State game was his highest graded Pro Football Focus grade of the season. Threw for 4 touchdowns that game. He threw for 2. Threw for 325. I don't know how many he completed, but he threw for 325, 2 touchdowns, ran for 2 touchdowns. So he had 4 total touchdowns, less than 3 minutes into the season. Remember his great 23 season, all the preseason hype and everything, less than 3 minutes into the season opener, Joey Aggs hits an 83-yard touchdown over the middle to put Appalachian State up on the board. So it's funny, Tennessee's ready to play ETSU for the second time in program history. I got another trivia question here for you in a minute, so get ready. But Joey Aguilar is about to play them for the second time in as many years. I thought that was interesting. Okay.
By the way, he threw for 3 touchdowns against Georgia State, Cainer. I've made enough mistakes today. Don't pile on and act like he threw for 4. It was 3. I'm looking at it right now in front of me.
I thought it was 4. I looked at it earlier today. Maybe I'm misremembering things too. Here's something else to put you on the spot. Okay, so Tennessee, the first ever time playing ETSU was in 2018. What was the significance of that football game?
2018, I don't remember the significance other than Tennessee got pushed around on the defensive line and that pissed off Vols JP and led to an argument on the Talking Vols network.
They did. That was Jeremy Pruitt's first win as a Tennessee head coach.
But it doesn't count, so moving on.
I read Tennessee's game notes earlier today. Who scored 2 touchdowns in that football game for Tennessee? Had the most rushing scores in that game on either side?
2000, what year?
So this is 2018. So who had 2 rushing touchdowns for Tennessee in 2018?
You want me to say Jarrett Garantano? Was it Jarrett Garantano?
It was not. So Tim Jordan led the team in rushing that game, but it was Jeremy Banks that found the end zone twice.
Wow, dude, he could have been a good running back. He just couldn't hold on to the football. He fumbled all the time.
He had fumble issues for sure. Yeah, he turned into a pretty good linebacker. Obviously, he had some issues, but he was a really good linebacker here. But yeah, he had 2 touchdowns in that game. I remember. I saw that and I'm like, no way. I remember that now. All right, Boogie, we're just messing around here a little bit. Give me a bold prediction and give me a score prediction if you have one.
By the way, I've got contractors in my house trying to fix this flood damage, and Cainer's busting my grapefruits on a freaking Locked On Talking Vols episode. I can't believe I signed up for this. I don't even have a prediction. We're recording this on Wednesday before my show. I've not even started taking notes for my show. My pets' heads are falling off, but we are here. And we shall make a prediction. It's going to be domination, man. Tennessee's going to run the football. I think they're going to run the football a lot. The question to me is, how long do you play Joey Aguilar? Do we see Josh Heupel do what he normally does, come out of the locker room, go through one series, and then you're going to see Jake Merklinger? I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jake Merklinger come in after that. But regardless, Tennessee domination. Give me something like 56-3. Like, I just don't think ETSU is going to have anything for the Vols. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, they ran the football successful. I don't care. I really just don't care. Tennessee's going to take care of business.
Yep, Tennessee's going to take care of business, and we'll be looking forward to it, man. Next time we talk, be Monday morning on your show. Hopefully we'll talk about a lot of good things from this game, but it's going to be full speed ahead, Tennessee and Georgia. And, you talk about a litmus test early. If Tennessee loses this game, not the end of the world, right? But what does Tennessee look like in this game? Can Tennessee steal this game, right? That's how I'm going to phrase it all next week. Can Tennessee steal this game at home early in the season? They're going to be underdogs. I think it's possible, certainly. But obviously, one more test to go before then, or one more. We'll call it a little pop quiz before the test, right? The test, Georgia.
Little glorified scrimmage coming up tomorrow afternoon.
Boogie Bentley, man, what do you got coming up this weekend, leading into the game and then after the game?
Business as usual. We were live this morning. This drops at midnight. We're live at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Me, Coach Jay Falmeen, getting you guys ready for kickoff. We'll be live an hour before kickoff on Saturday doing a tailgate show. That's a fan call-in show. You guys, the members of the channel, get to come on, hang out, talk a little ball with us. You drive that show, and then we'll be live immediately following the game for the post-game show Sunday morning, bright and early day after video. Another fan call-in, members-only stream on Sunday night. Always a good time, man. That's it's where you get to come on. Like, who else do you want to talk to after a Tennessee game? You want to sit around and talk to your buddies about it, so you can sit and listen to me talk about it, or you can come on and you get to talk about it. That's fan calling shows are a lot of fun, always a good time. So that's what's going on over at Talking Vols. I think we just hit 32,000 subscribers this past week. So come over, check it out. For the fans, by the fans. Don't pretend to know more than you. Just a bunch of dudes that love Tennessee football. That's it. That's all we are.
Boogie Bentley, Talking Vols Network. As always, man, good stuff. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Good conversation as always with Boogie Bentley of the Talking Vols Network, getting you set for Tennessee and ETSU, the home opener. Neyland Stadium coming up tomorrow, 3:30. And remember, if you're watching, it's that streaming game, ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus. I gave you my guys to look out for, goals for this game, and a game that should be a lopsided affair in favor of the Big Orange. What's going to be the main storyline that we're talking about Monday morning or on the postcast late on a Saturday night? We'll discuss all that and more every step of the way right here on Locked On Vols. If you're heading out to the stadium this weekend, stay safe, enjoy yourselves, have a blast. Congratulations, it's football time in Tennessee once again. This is Locked On Vols.